Last time we covered the horizontal alignment. In this video, we'll talk about the vertical alignment. Since it's quite hard to align well with only the column element, so we'll need the container. You can see the container object here. This is already included in the download template. Here I've coded a container. You can see in page.add. Instead of what we did last video, we'll embed everything inside a container. Just comment this out. There are the layout that we showed last video. Alt-T, open up the terminal, scripts activated, flat run, and go back to the main.py to load the app we saw last video. To save the main.py, let's save it again. Why it took so long to load? There should be something wrong. Remember to save your main.py before you load your app. Alright, now flat run and load the app. This is how our app looks like from last time. And we didn't like this layout, right? Let's comment this out and reactivate the container. Control S, save it. Yup, that's our container. You can see that the container is surrounded by a border. So the border value is 4 and set the thickness to 10. Let's say set it to 2, save it. You should see a very thin border. Actually, you don't need to set container border, and it's not a common practice. Comment that out. Okay, the border is now gone, right? Set the height to 350, which will bring the elements closer. You see all the elements are squeezed in now. Let's reactivate the border just to show you how it looks. And now set it to 450, save. You see that the elements are spreading closer to the border. For the padding property, it controls how far the elements are from the container border. Let's say we set padding to 50. Now it's pushing towards the border. For controls, you see that the button is placed on top. Then the element selected file is here. Just open a sub. Here you can select your own sub. Anyway, open it again, and the result path can now be selected. The app layout can also be rearranged. Let's say these 3 buttons, which you can see here, element 1, element 2, element 3, are embedded inside row 1. And I want row 1 to be below the selected file path text, which is on top of the preview text area. To do this, simply Ctrl X, put it back, save it. The buttons are now above the preview text area. Inside the preview text area, here we can add a height property and set it to 350. Okay, save it. Actually, I want a longer text area, which is like this one, that allows for a longer context. Yep, that's a simple vertical alignment. Now let's say we want element to be a drop box. Comment this out. Of course, you can delete unused codes, but usually we'll keep them because we can always go back to where we were. Now change element 1 to a drop-down. If my memory is right, this drop-down is already in our download template. When you want to create an element, you can refer to the documentation. I'm not going to repeat here. I remember is in flat drop-down. Just look for the option property. The options property is here. Options equal here will insert a Google Translate dictionary, which is just a list of all languages from Google Translate. That's just what you see. Google Translator here. We'll add this later, but we'll just leave it now. What you see in this video is just how a simple drop-down works. Let's say option 1 is English, then Cantonese. Here we're just adding dummy choices. Japanese, something like that, and save it. Oops. I see. Need this one. fd.dropdown options. That's what Flet is lacking in documentation. Doesn't matter. Simply drop down options. Just separate each option for each line. Instead of English, simply code it this way. ft.dropdown, then it's just the list of language options. Let's say English. Usually we won't do this line by line. We'll learn how to use list comprehension to handle this in the next video. Here I'm just showing you how a dropdown looks like and what the codes are doing. Okay, Cantonese, and then Japanese, whatever. Now it looks like this. You can pick Japanese, Cantonese, something like that. Of course, you can also change the dropdown label. Remember, there should be a label property. There we go, because many elements have label property. Just put language under label, save it, and you should see the label language here. Feel free to tweak the color or whatever. The dropdown is pretty much done. In the next video, will be based on the selected language to manipulate the upload subtitle. This will be done by pressing a button and add a preview area underneath, which is a text box that holds the translate subtitle. That will be done in the next video. Here I close the app. Usually save a backup just like what I did before. In between, you see that this page dot vertical alignment and this vertical alignment are duplicate. Simply delete the extra. Now Ctrl-Shift-S, save as a new Python file. Instead of saving as base1, like in last video, we save as base2 this time, alright? That's pretty much it for today.